Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
She says she speaks English in pirate.
Well, I tell people that sometimes my mouth is a hybrid between a construction worker and a pirate.
And with that,
I have a very dirty mind, and I cuss a lot, and I'm very open about everything, and it usually embarrasses everyone except me.
and I like to start the show with that. Testicles 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have an amazing episode lined up. And I want to remind you the first thing to do right now, the best thing you could do for the show is word of mouth. Check us out at paranormalradio.com. Check out the affiliations with Flavors of the Forest. And guys, do not forget to check us out on YouTube. We are on YouTube. I sold out. I don't care what you say. But you guys lack the conviction to take 5 seconds of your day to go to the search bar and search for the show. So I had to bring it to you to your favorite mainstream media little platform, which is called YouTube. Everybody check us out on YouTube and also paranormalradio.com. Check out the affiliations and also drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the mood. Please give a warm introduction to the next special guest in this amazing show. She has her own show herself. She's the hostess of the Cryptids, CREEPS, and Conspiracies podcast. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I am so pumped because I always like meeting new people. That's kind of how I am. And so much, like I said, so much weird stuff happens. Oh, for those of you who weren't in our, non-recorded section, it's crazy. By the way, if I go, what? You talk very fast. I thought I talked fast, but I'm usually pretty good at keeping up. It's the ADHD in me. But if I say what,
you have
I
it
apologize.
too, huh? You have
I
the
do.
thing where you fidget, right? That's the thing.
Yes. And I'm out of my meds, so we are med free today.
Yeah. I wouldn't want any other way to have this energy burst out of you. I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
good.
speak
And I didn't even
faster.
drink tonight, so I am
Good.
sober.
I love it.
And
So
I don't drink that much anyway, but
I'm about to be 4 months and a half sober of alcohol and about 7 months sober of meth. So you can only imagine what my brain is looking like inside right now.
Yes.
And I'm eating, overindulging, and then that ADHD kicks in. I don't even know that's what it's called, but I usually start off very fast, and my brain is thinking at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm trying to speak faster than what I can think, and I can't. So you start getting stuck,
Yep.
and then that Beaner accent comes out. It's
Beaner. Well, sometimes I do if I get excited or if I get real into something. You will hear my Southern come out. I try very hard to cover it up.
Why? Let it out. Let it loose.
I can't say numbers, and there's certain words and names that I can't. No matter how hard I try, I cannot not say it. So we officially refer to it as a nuker instead of a microwave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. Nuker.
And I can't do the name Michael
Okay,
or Ryan.
Michael.
Anything with
Mhm.
that I sound is difficult for me.
That's when it
So-
comes out, huh?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's just, I'm super excited. I have been talking about this since we talked, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. Yeah. So it's been crazy.
Huh?
I can let your people know since they don't know who I am, probably.
Yes, please. I was about to let you know.
Since everybody is probably watching this video, just so you know, I've got a sensor here, a sensor here, a sensor here, and a sensor down here by the bunny rabbit. And all of those are on. My K2 meter I actually make this. This is crocheted, and it's got holes in its mouth and in its paws. So I take it on my paranormal investigations, and everything loves this thing. Because I put the cat ball sensors in its feet and its nose and stuff, so you can see it light up in the dark. It's awesome. But I am also everywhere you find me.
Yes.
All the social medias, all the platforms. I am trying to keep up on YouTube. My host site quit automatically posting to my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. I forget about it, but I do have a Patreon page, and I also have, okay, ready? It's so original. www.cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy.com.
That's a beautiful name. I couldn't imagine it to be anything else.
Yeah, and I actually have a new logo that I did. It's all on there. But I just one day I was listening to another podcast that I absolutely fell in love with. I listened to them for a year or two,
Hmm.
and I was like, you know what? These guys are awesome. I love them. It's the Kryptonite podcast. I'll shout them out because I absolutely love those guys. They do a great job. And I was like, you know what? I think I could do it. I'm going to do it. I'm into weird stuff. Other people are into weird stuff. I've never had an outlet where I could be myself. I am from a very rural community in the Bible Belt.
Whoa.
So essentially, being a witch or any type of psychic, it makes you, I'm just going to like burn in hell for no reason
Hmm.
because I was born this way.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I never did have that outlet. I always had to kind of like hide everything. So when I did the podcast, it was an opportunity for me to be myself. And I got to meet other people. It's like what I tell people is I go to these events. So I try to go to Cryptid Con every year. It's in Lexington, Kentucky
Hmm.
in November. And I try to go whether I'm vending or just networking. I try to be there. And the first time I went, it was so amazing. I mean, the people in this community are fantastic. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
And I went from being, this Baba black sheep and a weirdo and just, I don't have friends. I don't go out. I don't do anything because nobody is like me. And then I
Hmm.
show up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am in a herd of black sheep.
Oh,
And it was like, I finally felt like these are my people. I am home. And everybody was so friendly my first time. They're fantastic. So, definitely awesome. And I appreciate being on here because, like I said, I always love and I like to share a lot of the stuff that I deal with because I've noticed other people, because if you're from an area like I am, or just any area
hmm,
in general since the 50s,
hmm.
no one believe like either no one believes what you say or they criticize you for having any type of experience or encounter. So I like to share my story and I like to have people on the show share their stories because other people are, you're so afraid to say anything.
Hmm.
But then you'll hear somebody say, tell about their encounter, and you're like, wait a minute, I saw that. I know what that is. Oh, I have this. And it makes you feel a little less cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I guess.
Yes. Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
I just like to do that. So thank you again for letting me be here.
Thank
Hi,
you.
everybody.
Thank you for sharing your amazing testimony. Hey, I'm a weirdo. You know what? In fact, as we were speaking, I was thinking of Radiohead, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. You know that song. You know that
Yeah.
song. It gives my
What the hell
depression
am I
depression.
doing here?
I love it, dude. And because I felt like that my entire freaking life.
Yes.
And all I wear
Yes.
is black. All of my freaking everything in my house is black. It's like,
When they're
So I
like,
love
"Oh,
it.
you didn't put your Halloween decorations up." I'm like,
Like
"Oh,
I'm
what
Halloween 20
what Halloween
365.
decorations? These are just my decorations."
Yeah. Wow. I
But
get I feel that homesickness sometimes. I'm a Star Wars super freak. So we're about to go see with my best friend the 20th anniversary of episode 3, right? And I actually bought the tickets today. And I
oh,
can only imagine all the Star Wars heads that we're gonna be there united. I'm gonna be the only bald guy with tattoos that looks like a gambbanger in the
I
middle of a
doubt it.
bunch of nerds.
Oh no. Well, you got to think too. So I do a lot of this, and I design. Okay, so just so you know, all these things up
Mhm.
here. Okay, this one I did not do. The plague bird I did not do. All the ghosts, the Fresno Nightcrawler. This I call it Parapuppy. He's a piece of equipment. You can't see this a whole lot, but it's a bone. It's a femur from a deer, and there's ribs on it and crystals.
Mhm.
And in this is actually a lantern with a skull from a
Mhm.
deer that it was already dead. Nobody at me,
Mhm.
but I make all of that and I design clothing and stuff. Only it's not my podcast name. It's Runes and Remains Relics. So if anybody wants to go look at like weird shit that I make stuff out of
Hashtag look it
bone.
up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've got
Mhm.
earrings made out of deer kneecaps. I mean,
Ooh,
oh, they're tight. I mean, oh, so I love giving things new life instead of it just being thrown in a ditch.
I love
I
it.
bring the death back to life. And I am very witchy. I found out I come from a line. So it actually
Okay.
explains a lot of the stuff that happens to me on a normal
Mhm.
basis.
Mhm.
Um, but oh my gosh, the brain just left. I know I was going somewhere. It was like I was going around the track and then I just veered off by a squirrel. Well, whatever
Squirrel.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, so I design things, and one of the things I have is a skirt that I actually built the entire like design and fabric and everything. So it's not like I just made a picture. I mean, I made the whole fabric and it's got like leggings. But anyway, so it's like a fluffy little dress and it's kind of short if you like hike it up, you know, because I'm a very top heavy gal. So I'm short and I'm very top heavy. So to make things a little more proportionate appearing, I kind of pull things up to make it look like I've got more torso, make it look like I got not, hobbit legs. But so I show up to this event. I've got my hair all curled, my makeup's all done. I've got the black lipstick. Normally, I had an interview today, so I don't look like my normal self. But I'm like all decked out. I've got this awesome shirt, and I've got this like mini skirt, these 3-inch stilettos that I'm wearing at this event.
Whoa!
And they put, ironically, I'm right by this back door. So every time somebody opens, the wind blows.
Uh-oh.
And I'm in like a flowy, short, so I'd like walk around holding my skirt down. But I was sitting most of the time, and I'm at a Bigfoot conference. So it's primarily these bearded, burly, and they look like Duck Dynasty guys, which are all super great dudes. I mean, they're fantastic. But it was funny because I had to get up and get something. And I stood up and came out from behind my table, and everyone in the room turned and just stared at me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I just need a bathroom.
That's you know what we call that in Spanish? We call that el taco de ojo. So that means they ate you up with their eyes.
Yeah,
they were eye candy.
Well, they were thinking about tacos, I'm sure. But it was just really funny because I never fit in. Like even when I go to these places, I mean, I'm more of like the creepy side than the Bigfoot side. I mean, I like it, but I don't appear as a Bigfoot person. And I'm about to upset a lot of people. I have never seen Star Wars.
Oh gosh. Well, if you ever do,
I have a short attention span. It's a long movie.
They're very long movies.
And
they're not for the faint of heart.
Every time I try to start it, we only get like 10 minutes in, and then I'm busy watching something else, if you know what I mean. And so I just never get through it.
You know what? At least, as long as you tried. Have you ever watched Star Trek?
Nope.
Okay, then you're automatically a Star Wars head. You're good. You're good to go. You're my friend.
I've never tried. I did try to watch Star Wars, and I know some references and stuff, but I've never actually seen the whole thing. I have never even seen or started to watch a Star Trek episode.
Good. Don't ever.
I only know the conspiracy about the red shirts. That's all I know. Oh, and the guy that does this.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know his name.
That's against my religion to know anything of that.
Spock, right? Oh my God, so many people are probably, they were like, you stupid bitch. I'm more of a vampire gal. I'm sorry.
I love vampires and zombies myself.
I can't do zombies. Zombies give me nightmares.
They do.
It's an empath thing.
Really?
Yeah, I can't, like, if I watch scary, it's like I hate rom-coms because I can feel like the emotion and I don't like feelers, especially those feelers. So I don't like watching them. And then whenever I watch anything scary, I have horrifying, like, lucid dreams. I die a lot in my dreams. I get, like, tortured. It's horrible. Horrible.
Let me ask you, now that we're here, all right, everybody. Yeah. So that was the introduction to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracies podcast. If you think I'm crazy, she's way beyond the spectrum.
Oh, yeah. I'm on the spectrum, probably.
I need to know something. You mentioned lucid dreaming. This is going to be good. I'm livid.
You just wait. Because I think.
Go ahead.
Please tell me you saw that.
I did
not.
Like
my whole light over here flashed. Not bright, but it was like gray and then black again.
Were you smoking?
No. Well, I blew it over here. No, okay. I didn't hit it till a minute ago, but like it was like this whole side just looked like it was like flickering. Oh well, anyway. Crazy. Don't worry, this happens all the time.
I'm a livid, lucid dreamer. I think I could even start a lucid dream, wake up in the middle of the night, feed my toddler her milk, and then come back to bed with that same right where I left off, and then go to sleep. Force myself to go into this room, like blinding light, just dark light, and then with my intent, I pick it right back up, right where I left off.
Oh, I don't try to; it just happens.
What?
So you want to know something really crazy? Oh, wait till they happen when you wake up.
Wait,
you dream about it, and then it happens.
That is insane.
It's a little weird.
Okay, has that ever happened to you, and why?
All right, because I'm about to blow your socks off. Hang on to your butt cheeks, y'all, because it's going to get crazy. I'd say hold on to your titties, but I just got my nipples pierced, so they're a little sore.
Oh, snap.
About that making people awkward thing. Sorry, guys.
You're a natural comedian.
Like-
I'm telling you about that.
Like I literally just did it Saturday. So they're freshy fresh for the third time. Anyway. I am on baby number 14 that I just found out 100% accuracy rate. I knew the person was pregnant and what the gender was before they even knew they were pregnant. And when we time it back to when I had my dream, it was right around the time of conception.
Oh, snap.
I have
Were
no
they friends
idea.
connected to you emotionally?
Everybody that I have had that with have all been relatives.
Okay.
Whether now blood relatives and my stepdaughter. Okay, my ex-stepdaughter. But it got to the point where this last one, I knew. And I was like, oh, are you trying? And then literally 2 days later, I had the dream. I was like, oh, okay, I already know. They didn't know yet. And they're like, oh, well, we're trying. And I said, well, and then I ended up calling them. I was like, by the way. And they're like, don't tell me what it is. I ruined the first 2 kids for them. They already knew what they were having.
So they know you're the one.
Yeah, they're like, don't tell us. And I was like, so I told some people on the side, so I could be like, I got to make sure that they don't, think that I'm just claiming it. I'm like, no, I'll tell you. Like, I told them, they found out they were pregnant. And I was like, I already knew. And we just found out, this is 4 months ago. And we
Why
just
do you
found
think
out.
this happens? How is that connected with?
I have no idea. It's literally, I will go to bed. And then I wake up in my dream and I am in her body. Generally, it's the female. I am in her body and I'm either holding a baby or I'm like watching the ultrasound, or it's like I'm always in their body, but I always know. I mean, one, there's, family members around me that I'm like, whoa, that's not my kid,
Mm-hmm.
But I always know that I'm somebody else. They feel different, even though I have lucid dreams and I can feel, taste, smell, all of that stuff. There's something different about the way it feels, so I know what kind of dream it is. But, like I believe, with life comes death. And ironically, I am on death number 6 with, again, 100% accuracy rate. I know who and how they're going to die, and they usually only make it about 48 hours after I have the dream.
Are you serious? Some
And
crazy Final
yeah.
Fantasy,
And
Final
that
Destination.
And that one, I've had family members. I have had people that I knew they existed, but I never actually met them. And the second one I had was a complete stranger. I had never met this woman. I had the dream and I was like, well, that was really weird. But it felt like one of those dreams, but I'm like, I have no idea who this lady is. And I shit you not, the next morning, I was with my mom. I was living at my mom's house. And I was walking, they always had the TV on the news. And I was just, getting some milk for some cereal, minding my own beeswax. And I turn around and the volume was down and I saw the woman's face on the TV. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the? And so I turned it up and she had been murdered the night before and they found her body that morning. And she was killed the same way I had a dream about. And she was an hour from me. I have no idea who this woman is.
Well, okay. My lucid dreams, I just get to control my dream where I'm dreaming. You get to control what happens to other people. But
I don't control it. I have no idea why it happens. I have no idea when it happens. I mean, I've never tried to stop it. But I don't think I could even if I wanted to.
So these are visions, not necessarily lucid dreams.
Exactly. But they happen while I'm sleeping. So that's where it gets kind of like that fine line.
I hear you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is insane.
It's a little unnerving. Because people are like, please, God, don't dream about me. Don't dream about me. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't control it. But think about it. How much good could I do if I could control it?
What I was about to ask you, does your intent help you guide the dream or vision at this point?
It's literally, and again, it's the same thing as when people are having babies. I go to bed, and when I wake up in my dream, I am in someone else's body. And I guess I did. I don't know if I'd say I tried to stop it, maybe, I guess. But I mean, I'll be there, and I will be like screaming. Like 2 or 3 of them have been like older people that are like in a nursing home or a hospital or whatever. And there's a nurse, and I am like screaming, trying to just get this nurse's attention because I'm like, I can't breathe. Help, help, help. And I'm trying to reach out. Mm-hmm. And they don't see me. They don't hear me. Nothing. It's like I am not there, but I am there. It's really weird.
That's insane. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's almost like an out of body. Maybe I'm somehow well, you can't astral project in the
Astral
future,
projection.
but that's real time, right?
Real time. Remember, now I'm a conspiracy theorist. A lot of people, when they tell me, "Do you watch TV? Do you watch, anything else in Star Wars or whatever?" And listen to music, because I don't anymore because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I tell them, no, it's against my religion, and they tell me, "What's your religion?" I'm like, conspiracy theorist, right? I can't do anything that's gonna not allow me to think critically. Anyway, the point is this: I lost my train of thought. There it is. Squirrel.
Hold on. Well, let's see if I can do
Squirrel.
it. Conspiracy theory, you don't watch stuff because if you do, it'll taint your thing.
And you said something
Because we
about
were
lucid
talking
dream.
about
Okay, got it. Well,
see?
if
See, I can help
people,
you.
oh God, thank you. Just eat the pie, like in Men in Black. Just eat the pie, and it'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll be like, hold on. And I run it through my head. And then I remember.
In the 70s and in the 80s, the United States government was abducting hobos and a bunch of different people and infants and orphans to run this thing called MK Ultra. And it's a
Yes.
very popular conspiracy theory, right?
Yes.
And then there's programs where during World War II they were using empaths to visualize where the enemy was by not being there. They would visualize and astral project themselves using their brain waves
Yep.
and kinetic energy to visualize where the enemy was. For example, Hitler's
Yeah.
bunker and things like that. So, if
Sorry. I just connected to, oh my gosh. So, okay, heads up, if the door opens and they start barking like crazy, my kid's on his way home. But they'll stop after a minute. Okay. I wonder if that's how we found, what was it? Bin Laden? Because we couldn't find him forever, right? They found him in like a hole in the
freaking cave
ground.
system. And we all know that when they tell you that they lost the technology, they're freaking lying. When they lost the technology to see to teleport people, at least people's consciousness, into the bunker where Hitler was laying, or where they lost the technology, big quotation marks, because the technology they used to get to the moon. When they lose technology, they're really telling you, we have it in a vault and we'll never pull it out unless we need to.
Exactly.
So,
Or like the chronovisor that the Catholics have stashed, supposedly took apart, stashed.
tell me a little bit about that.
So I've heard that, because obviously it's like religious people or whatever that kind of came up with this and got their hands on it. The Catholicism, which is we're not getting into that. That'll fire me up real fast. But supposedly they used it. They were like, oh, like we don't want anybody to have this, like this is the thing. So they hid it in the Vatican, like underground, kind of like where they say that there's like gray skeletons and such.
I
Like
believe you.
And supposedly they're like, oh, well, we took it apart and blah, 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 blah. I think these motherfuckers still have it. And they
But
just
what was
stashed
it?
it
What
under
was
the
it
Vatican.
for?
So what they would do was you could essentially, it was like time travel. You could go back in time, and it was like, to me, it reminded me of like an old school television set, but you would see what was in the past. You could go backwards. I don't know if they ever went forwards. I think it was primarily backwards, which brings me to a whole nother thing, but we don't have to get into that right this second.
I think we flashed each other's brain waves right now.
Yep. Oh, I do that. Sorry. I do that. I don't know how or why it happens. But I'm also really good at finishing people's sentences, or when they get stuck on a word, I know what the word is. Fun facts. It's a really cool party trick sometimes. When you're like, hey,
Talk about bringing party favors.
I literally have someone that I don't know what, I have no idea. I must have known this man in a past life somewhere. I don't know, but we are so connected that I did not talk to this guy, text, nothing, no contact with him for a year. And I went to a doctor's appointment 35 minutes from my house. They are about 40 minutes the opposite direction where we live, and I'm at a doctor's office, and it's like all of a sudden it's almost a magnetic feeling. Every time they are close to me, I feel like I need to go to them. It's like physically, mentally, everything is like, stop what you're doing, go here, go this direction. They are here. And I hadn't had any contact with this person in at least a year. And I sent a message. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Just out of curiosity. They're like, oh, I'm at a doctor's appointment. I'm like, where? And it was the same town. I'm like, no, where specifically? Because I was like, you're close to me. And they do it too, because they're like, I was wondering, and they're like, where are you? And come to find out, we Googled the addresses. We were 5 minutes from each other. And we knew, after not talking or any communications at all over a year, we knew the other one was 5 minutes away from the other. And I knew which direction he was. It was
You
weird.
worked like a compass. Now let me ask you this. It's going to get a little personal. Hopefully you
I
can
don't
share.
care.
Have you ever used it to your benefit? Have you ever used it, weaponized it?
I have weaponized the fact that I know what someone wants. I know what they want. I know what you want to hear. I know what you want, and I know how to get what I want from you. When I was younger, I didn't realize I was doing it until I got older, and then I was like, ooh, you know what? I think I was totally abusing the power. But I've straight up used it before. It's almost like I didn't realize what was happening, because to me it's normal. I just thought everybody could do it. And then I found out they couldn't, and I was like, ooh, my bad. Like, if I want something from you and now it usually only works, I have to be physically in the vicinity. It works even more if it doesn't even matter if I'm just like, hey, and I just like grab your arm. Whatever the skin contact is makes it like super heightened.
It amplifies it.
Yes. But if you're in the room, I could still usually do it. But if it's long distance, not so much. I have to at least at one time in my life be in physical contact with you. So,
does it work better with men than with women?
Men are easier to read. Well, they are.
We're easily discovered. If a man cheats, he'll get caught 10 out of 10 times. Women won't.
I am a human lie detector. I mean, I've had people and I'm like, you're lying to me. They're like, I'm like, I just know. I know. I can feel it on you. You stink of guilt or whatever. Yeah. So that's always bittersweet, because I know I'm getting screwed over, but at the same time, I'm glad that I know. And I also know how to pry it out of them so that they confess of what they did.
It's a gift and a curse, because sometimes, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been married for almost 10 years. And if I find out now that my wife cheated for X reason, I would probably be okay. Like, I don't feel, nope. I don't depend on her for love anymore. You get what I'm not love. I mean, happiness anymore. Because I'm sober. I'm thinking now. I'm thinking like my faculties are clear,
Yeah.
However,
yeah.
if you would have told me what I was drinking, I probably would have been like, crap, suicidal, bro. Yeah.
I very much so am. I try to be very trusting. I could generally know if someone is, pulling the wool, trying to pull the wool over my eyes. They don't realize that I can see through the wool. But I give them the benefit of the doubt. But all it takes is one fuck up, because I also don't forget. Work. I can literally be like, 5 years ago, you were wearing this outfit. These are the exact words that you said. These are the words that I said. And I'm like an elephant. I don't forget. And so one screw up, I have a 0 tolerance policy. Because if you do it once, you're going to keep doing it. You're just going to try to hide it harder, and you don't realize that I'm always going to know. So,
and women, above all, I have to say, women already have a higher power of FBI agency spy technology to find out.
Yeah. I have introduced myself to the other girl before, hunted her down, found out where she worked, hunted her down, and introduced myself. I'm like, you're so-and-so, right? She's like, yeah. And I was like, hi, I'm their girlfriend. If I have to come back here, this is going to end totally different.
Oh, gosh. And you're a psycho. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't tell really in the video, but my hair is naturally orange.
Naturally redhead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm bipolar. So.
You gotta be careful with them.
Now, I will say, disclaimer, I like to inform people, bipolar does not just mean that you are mad all the time. That is not at all. You're mad when you're manic. You're not mad when you're depressed. It's like, think of it as an emotional roller coaster, right? Mania is up here. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you got all this energy, you don't need to do all this stuff, but you're also very irritable, because after 3 days of no sleep, who wouldn't be? Or without food, who wouldn't be? But then you go down to the bottom, and you want to crawl in a hole and die and do nothing. You just literally want to bury yourself in the ground and suffocate. Or walk in front of a moving bus. And you have no control over it. Everything's fine. Nothing is wrong. You just want to die. It's very unpleasant.
Damn, I think you're just telling me you're diagnosing me. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, and then I tell people it's like I also have borderline personality disorder. So I'm kind of a little weird and hard to deal with. I am
Again,
medicated. I'm medicated. I've been medicated for over 10 years and I do all this stuff. So it's tolerable. I know what it's coming now. I know when I'm going either direction and I can let people know, hey, I'm probably going to be like this for the next X amount of days. Please bear with me. And I literally give a checklist. This is what you're going to expect from me. This is what I need you to do to help me through it. And it'll last so long and then it'll stop. It'll go back to another direction. But yeah, so just I like to tell people it's not just that we're mad all the time, but I am fucking crazy.
it's good that you come with the warning label. A lot of women
I do.
A lot of women hide the warning label and they try to just play it off until everything's all said and done and they got the guy tied up and
Usually it's the other way around. But oh, you meant figuratively. Oh.
no, I mean like if I would have
I
known
mean,
my
physically.
wife was gonna be crazy, I would have probably thought twice before putting a baby in her and and etc. You know, I would have thought
That's just
three
not
times.
at all where my brain went. My brain went physically tied down. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. My brain was like, oh, hey. Oh my gosh. I'm glad but you can still kind of see I'm red. Woo. But that's kind of my thing is before I got help, I didn't know. I couldn't understand what was wrong. I would just be feeling certain things and not know. Once I got help, so I say on my website, I tell everybody this, on my website, there are multiple links. There's a suicide hotline. There's the mental health awareness stuff. There's domestic violence hotline. There's, I mean, even the national crime stoppers, if you want to report a crime, call them. I like to always have them on my website so people have access to that if they need
Good
it.
idea.
Or if you know someone who might fit the bill, be safe than sorry. But anyway, sorry.
It's all good. That's all good.
Welcome to my Tosh Talk.
We came to the end of the episode without even noticing. But check this
really?
out. 30 minutes. Yeah. But I really want people to get a little dose of more what you have to offer on your show. Aside from the amazing energy, the great communication skills, the amazing testimonies, the deep dives, what can they find and what can they expect at the Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracies podcast?
So a lot of times, I do have some episodes a lot where it is my experiences or because I've had so many. I mean, I've seen like full ass apparitions. I have disembodied voices. I've had things move and fly. I got a creeper that has tried to grope me before. That was not fun. But I mean, I've been face to face with a demon before. And I mean, like, I was in the driver's seat, it was in the passenger seat, and it wasn't like, oh, I caught a glance. I mean, I have eyes, that one didn't, but we had contact for a solid couple minutes and it was jacked up. So I've had a lot of stuff that I can do, not to mention the premonition thing. I'm a bottle of weird. I've also died twice, so there's that, which are two totally different experiences, by the way. They were not the same. But usually I like to do investigations, right? Because I'm basically a paranormal meter. And the way I look at it is I've noticed a lot of people that are like me or even close to like me. I feel like we give off a certain type of energy that we don't realize. I've literally had people be able to touch me and they can feel, like they almost say it's almost like an electric current. Like they can feel it,
frequency.
right? And I feel like that is a beacon for stuff that's paranormal. So it's almost like you walk into a place and they're like, hey, this girl can talk to us. This girl can see us. This girl knows what's going on. So they flock. And you just can pick up on that energy as you're walking through, which sometimes is not the greatest. So I like to go on investigations. And when I do haunted places, I don't just cover the hauntings. I like to do, here is the history. Like, this is when the place was built. Here's what happened. Here's what it was, like the transition between, I don't know, nursing home and reformatory or whatever the case may be. And then I go into what other people have reported. And then if I investigated the place, what I experienced.
How it should
and then
be.
Yeah. And I try to find guests. If I try to prepare some haunted places, I try to find people that have been there so that it's the same thing. But if I haven't investigated, they have an aspect of what they experienced there. Cryptids, I always have the most fun with. Because they're the best. And I try to look at everything even if I agree with the person or not, I'm going to disagree with you. I will come up with every direction to poke and prod and question, even if I don't believe it. Logically, it might make sense. What if it's this? What if it's that? That kind of thing. What if this person was under the influence? What kind of shit were they farming? Whatever. I try to just cover all the areas because I want to leave it up to the person. Listener gets to decide, dealer's choice, but I want to put all the information out there. I don't want to do anything that's one-sided. I want to be like, here are all the options. You decide. But I try to be as thorough as I can with descriptions and locations and all of that. Now, I've done one episode strictly conspiracies. They were just ones that were proven true, and it was just like a broad overview. But I usually try to find the cryptids or the hauntings or the aliens or whatever, and then sprinkle in the conspiracies that surround that particular topic. Because I feel like if it's just conspiracy based, it's hard to be
it's
more than
hard.
one-sided. It's hard to be more than one-sided, and I feel like they get very lengthy, and a lot of people already kind of know the conspiracies, right? Because, I mean, JFK and Area 51 and all of that stuff, lizard people. And everybody kind of knows that. So I try to find ways to integrate different options that people have said, even if I have people that have firsthand encounters. Like I have a couple people that had Dogman encounters. And some Bigfoot encounters. So I will ask them, hey, did it, a lot of people say this happens. Did that happen with you? What's the difference? What's the similarities? Just to kind of ask the questions, because you don't know. Like I said, everybody might be experiencing the same or similar stuff. They just are too afraid to bring it out or whatever. And having somebody that they can relate to makes it a little easier, and they might feel better. I mean, you always feel better if you reach out, which is what I tell people too. So again, really unique. I have cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy at gmail.com. And on the website, there's an intake where you could just like feedback or whatever. And I tell people all the time, send me your stories. I try to do listener stories as well. So that's it. But I always change everybody's name. So just so everybody's aware, I change everyone's name. And it's usually like the first one was Chris, and then P, and then Bacon. So I try to come up with like little funny names so that there's no way that anybody could know that it's you. So total confidentiality. I stress that a lot because, like I said, not everybody's as open as me. But having people that just get it off your chest, get it out there, because your story or your encounter could potentially relate to somebody else, and then they reach out and then they kind of improve their life. I'm really trying to get to where it's like, hey, we're all crazy, right? We're all at least a little crazy in there. As much as you don't want to admit it, I'm just a whole lot of crazy. I mean, that lid fell off the shaker when they were pouring. But so I do a lot of that. I have had a few that I do like to do that are just fun. I've got this book. You should check it out. It's called Hippo Eats Dwarf. Okay. And it's like fun facts, but it's a little lengthier. Like I just did one that was like weird death, and it was like weird. Like you had to figure out, is it a rumor that happened? Was it a real death that happened? I did one that was like on the history of augmentation. So primarily breast implants, but there was other stuff, and it was like the background. And they used to put silly string into the implant because it would absorb over time. And that's how I think it was Nicole Richie got hers all weird. Is because they put silly string. So now there's a law against it. But anyway, I try to go into history.
I gotta look at that.
It's awesome. And we had so much fun doing it too. I've done like medieval torture devices, and I like to ask a lot of questions. So when we got to the end of the torture devices, I was like, hey, which one do you think you could handle the most? If you were to pick any of these that we handled, which one would you want to go through? And then we're like, think of somebody you don't like. What would you want to do to them out of all of these? So I try to make it a little bit. We have a good time. I do some fae and some folklore, that kind of thing. So it's just a little bit of everything. I always have a guest with me. I think there's only one episode I did not have a guest because I like the feedback, and I never tell the guest what we're covering. They always find out when we do it, because I want that genuine reaction. And I want those fluids to go, right? Because I feel like if you give them too much time to look it up and research, again, they're tainted by everybody else's opinions.
Yes.
And all of that. And when you bring up something, you're like, oh yeah, this happened. They're like, what the? That's always good.
Yeah.
I do always have my sensors on. So they're always going in all of my episodes, because so much weird stuff was happening that I was like, dude, I got to start doing video. But I kind of did it dirty. My videos are only available in one place.
Patreon.
My Patreon feed, and it's only one
Oh,
tier.
yeah.
But whenever I say video, I mean, I post the whole video. I mean, bloopers, outtakes, anything probably derogatory or offensive that I said, it's in there. Like, it's all in there. So I try to add like perks like that because, and I'll take little clips and snippies. I was going to show you this really fast, that rabbit.
Yes.
That sounds
It's
really
all
pretty.
yours.
Okay. Do I have to click share or anything? How do I do this?
Share screen.
Okay. Sorry. I know I'm new to the sharing screen. I think you'll be able to see both of us, right? See my logo? You can see in the background. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
I designed it all myself.
I love it.
All right. So this is fucking bananas. Now watch in the bottom right.
What?
And I wasn't even on the screen. Now watch, you can see me walk back in. Oh, okay. I guess I cut it off. But here, I'll play it again for you.
No. No.
Yeah. And so that happened. And I'm maybe a couple minutes before that, I have another video from the same recording session that happened just a couple minutes before that. Ready? Because this is freaking bananas.
And you're still in the. Oh, there she is. And Liz is talking now, right? At that moment.
Yeah. But yeah, so that happened like right afterwards.
I
And
would probably shit my bricks.
and what's weird is it was only the studio lights that turned off. Everything else was still on. It was only in my studio. And I've been when I did my episode 69 was Sextraterrestrials.
I love that title.
I loved it. But it was like encounters that people had where they were like, do's and the deeds, and it was pretty detailed, but not like scary. But let's just say a nipple got bit off.
Whoa.
Yeah, so go check it out. I mean, not my nipple, but in the story, in the encounter, the nipple got. Let me clarify. But I had like 4 guests and then me, and I would be talking, and then like the lights were going off, like, and we have coherent conversations. Like I'll have the box going, I'll have my spirit box going, and people will go. And I've had people on the show where the spirit box starts talking. I don't understand it, but either the only person on the screen or one of them is like, and they start freaking. They're like, I know who that is. I know who that is. And one of them was the girl's brother. And well, then they were talking about my butt.
Deceased?
Yes, deceased. And I was like, oh, is this who it is? And in my studio, when the lights come on, well, you acknowledge that you're there. That's how I know you're there. And then after that, if we ask a question, then a light is yes and nothing is no. And so we've had conversations with people, like things and stuff like that. And they answer yes and no questions. They're very specific to the point. Like I've had somebody that a friend of mine, it was their buddy from overseas that didn't make it home. And I didn't even know. It was a weird name. And I was just like, well, that's weird. And then it was giving me their name and my friend's name. So when I asked my friend about it, they started freaking out. They're like, how did you know that name?
Whoa.
And come to find out, it was his buddy. And like they had a callback they did overseas. So like they would say something. So
and
you knew it was,
only they would know.
Yeah. So you knew if it was a friendly. And he wrote it on a piece of like a Post-it note and folded it up and he gave it to me. He goes, do not open this until I tell you to. I'm like, okay. And he goes, I need you to ask this question, like word for word, exactly how I say. And I'm like, okay. So I did it twice and we didn't do anything. The third time I did it, it answered. And I mean, he was, no pun intended, ghost white. I mean, his jaw hit the floor. He goes, open the Post-it note. And I opened it. It was exactly what the box said. He was like, that's him. That's him. And I mean, I had I mean, it was very intense. And I've had people where, a loved one died, like a girlfriend or fiance or whatever, like years ago. And they pop in. And like one of them, he told me what happened. And the spirit corrected him. He was like, oh, she died in a car wreck. And it goes, no. And it said accident, hurt, hospital, dead. And he's like,
oh my goodness. That's a lot of detail.
Yeah. And he goes, and he, starts freaking out. And he was like, yeah, she got in the accident, but she didn't die on site. She got rushed to the hospital, was in a coma, and 2 weeks later died in the hospital. So she was like, no, excuse me. You got it wrong.
That's not what happened. You got it wrong. This is how I really died.
Bro, this is what happened. Like, don't you be telling my story wrong. But stuff like that happens to me a
How
lot.
dare you mess up that story?
Yeah. So I like to keep everything running. And then on my Patreon feed, like I'll do some spirit box sessions because, like I said, it happens all the time. It's everywhere I go. And people are like, "Oh, you live in a haunted house," and I'm like, "It's not the house,"
Mhm.
because they follow me. It's the
you.
same. Yeah, it's me. Some of them are my kids because I call him my breathing child. He's one of 6 kids, so the rest of them didn't make it. And they have a certain ball that they light up, and on their birthdays they're really active. So we'll come out here and I post those on my Patreon feed and stuff. But yeah, so it's like a lot of stuff that we just kind of hit and miss and go, and it's always a wild ride because you never know. Like sometimes we've had, especially with Melissa, who I was just showing you the videos with, where I'll even and it'll just go go go, like the box will not stop. And we've had where we stopped what I was talking about and just had a conversation with it.
That
And it was
is
like,
intense.
yeah, it's very exhausting for me personally because it's like you can feel.
Energetically draining.
Yes, I'm like, okay, like I know you're here. I know you're here. Like in that video, right before that happened, I was like, man, I feel so sick. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna puke. I feel like I'm gonna puke. And then they're like, we can't stay. And then the lights shut off. And I was like, oh, that's why I wasn't feeling good.
It was
But
you have like a sixth sense,
yeah, and I
a
tell people
very
all the
developed
time
one. Mhm.
that if it's something showing itself or talking to you, they do it with an intent. They don't just do it for fun. I've decided. And I feel like even if I can't physically see it, I can close my eyes, and if something is in the vicinity, I can picture. Like I know, is it male, female, old, young, tall, short? Like I can see, almost like they don't have enough energy to physically make themselves show up. They can be like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I look like.
A
So I can
projection.
close it and I can visualize who they are. I can smell them. I have one guy who smells like cigarettes. It's gross. Yeah, I call him Cigarette Man. Shout out to my X-Files fans. But it's just it'll be fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoo, weird feeling, and then it's like almost like somebody just blows cigarettes, like an ashtray. It just whooshes it right in front of my face, and then it's there for a couple minutes, and then he leaves, and I'm like,
Definitely.
okay.
You
Um,
should do lives on YouTube. There's so many people that would eat this up, dude.
so I thought about it.
That's
I'm not experienced with YouTube. Most of my stuff is already pre-made.
hmm
But I also do interesting Halloween photos.
okay.
Um, let me see if I can find one for you really fast. I'll show you this. Um, what I was doing was I did them and I used them as marketing for my Patreon feed. So I would edit them because I had to edit them to post them on social media. Uh,
hmm
and then if you subscribed, you'd be able to access like the full photo. I think they're classy. I mean, I made them classy. I wasn't like totally schlutting it up.
hmm
But they're definitely interesting. So here is one of my favorites,
Wow, 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 wow.
right?
That'll
Um,
be to get killed by that Jason would be a pleasure.
It'd be like, hey, but I do like costume makeup and stuff like that. And then I've done some, I did some for Christmas and they were pretty good.
Excellent.
I
They
don't
were excellent.
generally comment on my own self very often, but damn.
God
Um,
damn.
yeah. And I had this machete. It's a real machete I found. Somebody handmade this machete. You can see it in the photo there.
Oh, snap.
And I found it.
Great pick.
And so I was just goofing off. So here, okay, okay. Well, here you go, YouTube people. Oh, you can kind of see it. I don't know why I have to turn my screen. Maybe if I turn my brightness down. Sometimes that helps. Oh, fuck, where'd it go? Well, you can kind of see it. Well, no,
That's a
it's not.
very nice looking
So,
outfit.
but I do for the holidays. I like to dress up and take. 'Cause I'm weird.
Fair enough. Why
And
not?
I've actually had a couple people ask me if I wanted to do a calendar. So I'm actually considering doing a calendar. Um,
And when it
oh,
drops, let us know so that we can start promoting it.
and well, and I'm also working on I do poetry. I don't know why. It's just something I've always done. And I pick the cryptids that I cover and I do poetry about the cryptids.
I love
Um,
it.
and so eventually I want to have a little book together and all of that stuff. But but yeah, so I am like kind of everywhere. And it's really fun. Like I said, I just started the funeral home, so never a dull
I love
moment.
I love that. I love that you're letting your creativity side just dominate and you're not
Oh,
afraid of the dark and you're using your potential. You're
mm-hmm.
maximizing the profits and
Yeah,
then
for
there's
sure.
no
Well,
shame in that game.
I
You
wish I
know?
was maximizing the profits. Go check out my store, please God. I'm a single mom struggling. I just did an interview for another job because I'm trying to figure out how to feed this behemoth. But it's like even my stuff I make out of bones. I have a buck. I literally on the other side of this wall is a bucket full of bones, this random bones. And I tell people because they're like, "Well, what do you make?" I'm like, "I don't know until I hold it." It's a weird thing. I said, but when I can hold it in my hands, I it tells me what it wants to be.
You're a natural artist. That's what it
Yeah,
is. You
I
you
try to
you
be.
flow with the energy and then you manifest it physically into
Yeah.
to you materialize it with your own fingertips. And that is
Hmm.
huge. Um we are gonna push out towards the end of the show already. But ladies and gentlemen, she's not only a hostess of the show, she's an amazing character. She has beautiful talents. She's very good looking, guys. So make sure
Oh,
you go check out her stuff at Patreon. If you want to get
sometimes I.
slashed with that, Jason, you better pay for that Patreon.
Oh,
I'm letting you know right now. It
yeah.
looks
It's
amazing. You look
thank
great.
you.
You're on fire. The stuff that you're putting out is amazing, and under honored and humbled that you were spending so much time on our show today, telling me your testimonies, and I'm very happy that you spent some time here today.
I'm not very good at
And
making a heart, but I'm trying. There you go.
thank you so much. And again, ladies and gentlemen, that is Natasha from Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracies podcast. Make sure you check her out and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast because that allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace out.